Welcome back to Reds Fusion LFC. What a whirlwind of Liverpool news today, Reds. From Dominik Szoboszlai's honest admission about what the team's been missing, to Arne Slot's big injury updates on Isak and Alisson, and yes, Trent's latest setback after his Real Madrid move. Plus, Jamie Carragher drops a huge verdict on Mo Salah ahead of the massive Man City clash. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to stay updated with every twist and turn in the transfer window. Dominik Szoboszlai makes honest. Liverpool admission ahead of Man City. That's what we've missed. Interview with Dominik Szoboszlai as the Inform. Liverpool midfielder previews Sunday's trip to Manchester City. The sight of an exhausted Dominik Szoboszlai crumpled on the Etihad turf. Fresh from inspiring Liverpool to a statement victory over Manchester City, was one of the enduring images of a title-winning term. The midfielder had turned in a performance of poise and purpose back in February, running over 11 kilometers, while also supplying an assist and a goal. It was Szoboszlai, who was most trusted to carry out an unusual tactical plan against Pep Guardiola's then champions, as Arne Slot went to East Manchester without a recognized striker in his starting lineup. The decision to play the indefatigable at the tip of the midfield was an inspired one, as the Hungary captain decisively contributed to a huge win that took the eventual champions 11 points clear of Arsenal in the race. Szoboszlai returns to Manchester this weekend as arguably Liverpool's player of the season so far. The former RB Leipzig star has already shown in 3 separate positions of right back, defensive midfield, and as leader of the press in the number 10 spot this time out. And as the 25-year-old gets set to lock horns with City once more, it is that performance back in February that he says needs to be studied to set the tone against their rejuvenated opponents, who head into the weekend in second. That's our goal, to reproduce that performance, he says. Hopefully this time, if I get a goal and an assist there, I will get the Man of the Match award rather than Mo Salah. That's what we've missed, I guess. I think everybody could see against Real Madrid all of us running, fighting, being there for each other, covering each other's back. The most important thing is to keep going like this. There is a long way to go. Now it's all about the Premier League and facing Man City at the weekend. We know how good they are now. We have to focus on that. Liverpool could find themselves as many as 10 points behind. Leaders Arsenal when they get underway on Sunday afternoon, and they will arrive at the Etihad aiming to build on last week's 2-0 victory over Aston Villa after a torrid run of 4 straight Premier League defeats. Mikel Arteta's men are hosted by high-flying Sunderland on Saturday evening, but Szoboszlai says no conclusions can be drawn this weekend, regardless of any results across the league. The season is long, he said. If we were 7 points clear at this stage, nobody would be saying that we had won the league already. Last season, when we were leading the way, we just stayed calm and kept on going, because anything can happen. We just need to focus on ourselves, win our games, and then let's see what other teams are doing. I think the team spirit. We are a really close team. Everyone protects each other. We are there for each other. That's been the most important thing. When everything works, everyone is happy, and it's all positive, it's easy to stick together. The hardest thing is when you find yourself in a position where we were a few weeks ago. But even then, we stuck together and kept on going, believing it would turn for us. Liverpool star's transfer prediction has just come true to hand. Arne Slot, a new dilemma. Andy Robertson has reclaimed first-choice status for Liverpool in the left-back role after Milos Kerkez's shaky start. But the Scot is still set to be out of contract at Anfield come the summer. It was against Man City when Andy Robertson first truly won the hearts of Liverpool supporters. We've all seen the viral clip. It is January 2018, and the Scotland international starts a defensive charge from inside his own half. First, he presses Bernardo Silva, then he chases down Kyle Walker down his left flank. The ball is played inside, first to John Stones and then to Ederson, with the left back continuing to press both. After nearly dispossessing the goalkeeper, he then finds himself in the right wing position before being penalized for a soft foul on Nicolas Otamendi. A gut-busting 70-yard press, the fullback did not even touch the ball in the 15-second charge. But in that moment, supporters quickly found out all they needed to know about Robertson, and a new fan favorite was born. Fast forward nearly 8 years, and the Scot is now a well-established club legend. A two-time Premier League champion with Liverpool, he is also a European and world champion and has won every major honor with the Reds, making 353 appearances for the club to date. He boasts 12 goals and a whopping 68 assists. While left-back was once a problem position at Anfield during his time at the club, Robertson has established himself as Liverpool's best-ever player in the role in the Premier League era. He has come a long way since that run against Man City all those years ago. At the time, it was only his 10th Premier League start for the club, having only forced his way into Jurgen Klopp's starting X after Alberto Moreno had suffered an untimely injury against Spartak Moscow the month before. Robertson had had to bide his time, following his 10-meter switch from Hull City in the summer of 2017, and while Moreno would return to fitness 2 weeks after that 4-3 victory over Man City, making his return from the start in an FA Cup defeat to West Bromwich Albion. When Robertson started the next Premier League outing against Huddersfield Town, the changing of the guard at Anfield was clear. Having made the left-back berth his own in the enforced absence of the Spaniard, he has not looked back since, until this season, that is, where, for the first time since those latter months of 2017, he found himself not first choice at Anfield. Granted, there is a big difference between a then 23-year-old adjusting at Liverpool after signing from relegated Hull City to a 31-year-old club legend losing his place to a new 40 million signing. But that is perhaps what makes Robertson the perfect role model for Milos Kerkez. The Hungarian has admittedly struggled since joining the Reds from AFC Bournemouth in the summer, yet Arne Slot had kept faith in him at Robertson's expense. Arne Slot gives Major Isak and Alisson Becker Liverpool injury update. Arne Slot has delivered the latest on Isak and Liverpool injuries ahead of the trip to Manchester City in the Premier League on Sunday. Liverpool head coach Arne Slot has revealed that British transfer record signing Isak will return to training today ahead of this weekend's big Premier League game at Manchester City. The 125-meter man has missed the Reds' last 4 matches with a groin issue, but after being called up to the latest Sweden squad, Isak could now be part of the Liverpool traveling party for the trip to the Etihad on Sunday, 4:30 p.m., for what will be the final fixture before the international break. But speaking at his press conference this morning, Reds boss Slot urged caution over the striker, as well as providing an update on goalkeeper Alisson Becker, who has been absent with a hamstring injury since September 30th. He said, "Isak will train with the team again after 3 weeks out. I know that I said 3 weeks ago that his preseason has ended, so now it's time for us to see where he is. But I have to come back to those words, because if you are 3 weeks only with the rehab, that doesn't bring you back to the levels he was 3 weeks ago. Even though our rehab has done an incredible job, you cannot compare rehab with games of football or training sessions with the team. As much as we try to replicate it, that's simply not possible. So again, I have to say, give him some time." Slot was also asked about the fitness of left-back Andy Robertson, who has played 3 matches in the space of a week. The Dutchman said of the Scotland captain, "Robbo started 3 games in 7 days as he started against Crystal Palace in the Carabao Cup. I had to take him off towards the end, against Real Madrid. I felt he was tired, but we will wait to see where he is. Today, Liverpool will be without Alisson and defenders Jeremy Frimpong and Giovanni Leone this weekend, but Slot confirmed his number 1 is set to return for the home clash with Nottingham Forest on November 22nd. However, right-back Frimpong will still be sidelined, along with centre-back and long-term injury victim Leone." Slot said, "Alisson for sure, and I expect Jeremy back after the international break as well, because we play from November until March. But I don't expect Jeremy to be fully fit for Forest. But with Alisson, we expect this. Yes." The Reds will head to City on the back of a superb 1-0 Champions League win at home to Real Madrid and a morale-boosting 2-0 triumph at home to Aston Villa, which halted the defending champions' run of 4 straight defeats in the Premier League. Trent Alexander-Arnold suffers yet another setback after leaving Liverpool for Real Madrid. The defender has not enjoyed an immediate start to life at the Bernabeu, and his terrible week, which included being booed at Anfield, took a turn for the worse on Friday. Trent Alexander-Arnold has been dealt a fresh blow in his first months as a Real Madrid player, after the ex-Liverpool man was once again left out of Thomas. Tuchel's latest England squad, the 27-year-old has played just 26 minutes under Tuchel since he took charge of the Three Lions at the start of the year, and has now been omitted from the last three squads Alexander-Arnold was unable to meet. Up with the group last month due to a hamstring injury but now fit once again, has been overlooked by the former Chelsea boss. As was the case in September, it means the right-back's chances of making the World Cup squad look increasingly unlikely. After November's fixtures, there are just 2 more friendly games in March before Tuchel selects the group that flies to North America for next summer's tournament. Despite that, Tuchel said on Friday that there could still be a place at the World Cup for those not named in the last 3 squads. I will also be open because I know anything can happen. You don't wish for injuries, but it can happen in short notice, said the German. I think it's important for me to reconnect after these 3 camps with all 55 to 60 players on the long list and be in close contact and see them, meet them and text them. We have to stay open-minded because young players can come through. Those who are struggling for minutes can play important roles for their clubs. I need to make sure the door is always open and they are on their toes. The final nomination is only in May, and until then, anything can happen. Alexander-Arnold's latest exclusion is compounded by Tuchel's decision to recall Phil Foden and Jude Bellingham to the England squad, having omitted the pair for the last roster. The decision continues Alexander-Arnold's fractious relationship with the England national team. Despite being considered among the world's best right-backs in recent years, the former Red has earned just 34 caps for the Three Lions. It comes after what has been a difficult week for the real star, who returned to Anfield on Wednesday for the first time since his acrimonious departure over the summer. He was booed by the home fans in the Champions League encounter against Liverpool and was introduced for the final 9 minutes of the encounter. Alexander-Arnold has also struggled to hold down a starting berth at the Bernabeu since arriving last summer and started just half of Real's La Liga fixtures before his injury absence. Jamie Carragher delivers telling big game verdict on Mo Salah ahead of Man City clash former. Liverpool defender has been critical of the Egyptian in the past, but says the current footballer of the year is guaranteed to go down as a true Premier League great after 1,000 matches as a manager of a professional football team. There will probably be plenty of opposition players Pep Guardiola would like to see the back of. Guardiola will reach that 4-figure milestone when he walks out at the Etihad Stadium late on Sunday afternoon for another installment of Manchester City's rivalry with Liverpool. And it is a rivalry that has consistently presented Pep with a particular problem: how to stop Mohamed Salah. Quite simply, Salah has been involved in more Premier League goals against Guardiola's City than any other player, scoring 9 and assisting 6. Across all competitions against City, Salah has scored 13 and made 8 assists. The only teams Salah has been as productive against are Spurs, 16 goals and 5 assists, and Manchester United, 16 goals and 6 assists. And those sort of figures, amongst many things, are what put Salah into football's Hall of Fame. That is certainly what Jamie Carragher thinks. Sometimes, when you look at goal scorers, and it is the toughest job to do, a lot of them maybe don't score against the biggest teams or the best defenders, whereas Mo Salah does, declares Carragher, and that is something he should be given extra credit for. He delivers in the biggest games. When you think of great strikers, the best goal scorer Liverpool have ever had is Ian Rush, and famously, he went years without scoring against Manchester United. Quirkily, Rush did indeed have a poor record against United, scoring only 3 times in 34 games against them, but Rush is commonly acknowledged as Liverpool's greatest striker, not least for the fact he tops the club's all-time scoring charts with 346 goals, 61 ahead of Roger Hunt's total and 96 ahead of Salah's tally. But Carragher, who was speaking at the launch of a new Sky Bet British Heart Foundation initiative in the pioneering Every Minute Matters campaign, believes there is a serious discussion to be had over who is the best ever Anfield frontman. He explains, "The debate about who is the greatest Liverpool goal scorer will rage, But if you asked Salah about that, I know what his first answer would be. I play on the wing and they played through the middle. And to be fair, there is definitely something in that. In fact, Carragher, who criticized 33-year-old Salah during last season's contract standoff and received a feisty response from the Footballer of the Year, actually thinks the Egyptian, in the grand scheme of things, might be slightly underrated. Carragher says, "When Salah is not at his best, it feels like he gets a bit more criticism than I have seen other great players, get when they are not at their best." Maybe that is down to the way he plays as well. He is a real numbers man. When you judge Salah, it always feels like it is about goals. It is about assists. It is all about the data-driven game of today. It's as if he doesn't score or doesn't assist. What is his influence on the game? I can see both sides of that.